Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well, and shalom to all the Archeim that are teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Caleb from the GMS London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify the Lord's elect. As always, I like to start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, and the real Israelites, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, West Africans predominantly. However, you will find Israelites that do look like the other nations because we as a people have been scattered amongst all nations throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I was out a day or two ago doing a bit of shopping, a bit of clothes shopping, and I went down to one of the Adidas stores. I believe it was in Covent Garden, a place here in London, and I was looking for a particular item, and I've been to other branches and they told me that they had a few of the particular item I was looking for in that particular branch. So I went in there. I says, hey, I was in your other shop yesterday. They told me you've got 7 of the item I'm looking for. And the woman there, she says, oh, hold on a second. We might have some back. I'll go and check for you. So eventually she comes back and she found the item I wanted. All good. I was able to proceed to the checkout to buy it. But while she was away, I was looking around in the shop. And the shop had 2 floors. And as I walked in, I was obviously on the ground floor. And I perceived that a lot of the items that were on display on the ground floor were for women. They had a very feminine look to them. So when we got to the till point, another man served me, and funnily enough, he was another Jake, Benjamite, and he got talking to me saying, "Oh, where you from and stuff," and I was just making small talk with him. But as he was putting my item through the checkout, I asked him, and I said, "Excuse me, is your menswear upstairs?" And he goes, "Oh, it's all unisex." I'll say that again. As I was talking to the guys who's putting my item through the checkpoint, I says, so, do you keep your menswear upstairs? No, everything's unisex. Now, this isn't the first time I've heard this kind of shit, because in December, I was out clothes shopping, and I went into a trainer store over here called Shoe. I think it's called Shoe. As I walked in, I was looking at the Adidas Superstars, and they look very feminine. So I was wondering, where's the men's section? So I said to one of the ladies that's working there, excuse me, where do you keep your men's stuff? Oh, everything is unisex. I says, what? I said, how can that be? Men's feet aren't the same size as women's feet. She goes, oh, but all the colours, they come in men's sizes and female sizes, everything's unisex. And she said that to me as if there was nothing wrong with this. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because, as you can hear, I'm getting heated about this, because this is some bullshit, man. This is all part of Esau's agenda to fucking make everybody as one. Their new world order, where there'll be no more, nobody will have a nationality anymore. Everybody's going to be the same. There's not going to be any difference between genders. Both men and women are going to be the same. All this fucking fuckery bullshit, man. And we're seeing it manifest itself. I mean, I'm getting angry, but really I shouldn't be angry, because this is the Lord's will. This is the Lord's will to bring about the end. And we are pretty much at the end, because you got all these clothing companies, like, urban so-called urban wear, which really is Jake wear type thing, right? Now they're all making their things unisex, which is fucking bullshit, man. I don't want to see a girl wearing the same trainers as me. I want to see her wearing feminine things. It was cute to see. I'll use Adidas Superstars as an example, because I like Adidas Superstars. It was cute to see the little feminine Superstars with the girly colours and girls wearing them. That's cool, but for me, I don't want to wear that shit. I want to wear something masculine, because I'm a man. And the scriptures say a man shall not wear that which pertaineth to a woman, and a woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. And this goes to show you just how fucking far the abuse of one of the laws of the Bible, which I just quoted, roughly paraphrasing, the man shall not wear that which pertaineth to the woman, and the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth to the man. That goes to show you how far things have slid down the toilet because people have abused that law. For example, it may seem like a normal thing to see a girl walking up and down the street wearing trousers now because it's been normalized. But you see what this leads to? Do you see where this leads to? Now you got people in these shops saying, "Oh, everything's unisex," because that's what it's led to. Likewise, a man shaving his beard off his face. Oh, but why does that matter? Why does that? Why is there a law about that? Well, because it's supposed to make a distinction between the man and the woman. Women don't grow facial hair like that. You're not gonna see a woman walking in a bushy beard like that. At least you're not supposed to. Likewise, a man that is of full age shouldn't be walking around with a clean shaven face. Now, obviously, you've got brothers who grow more facial hair and less facial hair, but whatever you do have, you keep it. You know what I'm saying? You don't go marring the corners of your beds, getting lined up and all this kind of shit, because again, it blurs those gender lines. Now, this isn't something that's new, because if you look at the history of the fashion industry, it's always been ran by sodomites. And it's always been their intention to eventually get things to this point. That's why they always choose these supermodels that look super androgynous. Like you've got these androgynous female models that have got very like hard cheekbones. A lot of them are very flat chested, and they'll be wearing masculine clothing. And on the flip side, you've got men wearing effeminate clothing. So this has always been their agenda, always been their play. Now they're making their final, what do you call it? Their end game moves. Like if you look at a particular game or any game, if you're playing chess or even playing football, there's end game strategies. Like when you want to close out the match, and I shouldn't really be talking about football because I don't like football, but I'm just using it as an example. You know what I mean? You've got your end game strategy where you're like, okay, we're going to make this play, that play, because the opponent's been set up for it. Just like a boxing match, you've got your end game strategy. Like, in the opening rounds, you might train your opponent to, like, you're throwing a particular type of jab at him, say like a left jab, you keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. You condition your opponent, that's what it's called, conditioning. You condition your opponent to expect one thing, then when you flip the script and drop your right hook on him, he won't see it coming because he's been so conditioned to expect the other left jab. So you won't see the right hook or the uppercut or whatever it is you're going to throw at him. That's how you set your opponent up. That's what you call the end game, like the final strategy in whatever game you're playing. So this is Esau's end game for this society. He's been setting it up over years. Like, what did they have? Was it the sexual revolution in the 1960s? The swinging 60s, they called it. The hippie movement in the 70s. All these fucking movements, they've all been towards this whole thing of we're going to make all the genders one. Therefore, we're going to control the people and we're going to get them all to be atheists because nobody's going to believe in God anymore. They're all going to consent to our religion, which is to worship the New World Order and to worship themselves, to become lovers of themselves. And the whole of the law shall be do as thy will. Now, I've said all of that to say this. This is a photograph that I took when I was at the till point talking to this other Jake dude as he was ringing my item through the checkout. I noticed this imagery behind him in the decorations in the shop, and I saw this. Look at this shit. You got two fucking sodomites here, lips in. Oh yeah, and you've got the one eye in the corner too. What does that one eye represent? It's their symbol of how do you call it? The New World Order thing, looking out of one eye, where you see all these celebrities covering one eye. If you look on the back of the American dollar bill, the pyramid with the capstone removed, you've got the one eye symbolism there. So it's all part of that New World Order agenda. So you got, look, two straight men lips in here. And this is in the same Adidas shop where they're telling me now, oh, everything is unisex. This is some bullshit, man. And what else have you got here? See, these images, right? You might think, oh, it's just random art in the shop. No, it's not random art in the shop, right? What do you have here? Oh, right. Yeah, tattoos. Yeah, get your body inked up. Yeah, another violation of the scriptures. Yeah, let's do it. At the top here, what have you got? Oh, it just so happens to be a pyramid at the top there. Oh, how convenient. Just like here. Oh, there happens to be one eye there, which the eye isn't even part of the background. Like, let's break this image down. Like, let's break this image down. If we was to look at this painting, right, and say, okay, you got two men kissing here outside a strip club or Soho sex bar type thing, right? These images where it says peep show, the phone number, all that kind of shit, those are actually part of the background environment. If we was to analyze this picture on a technical, right, those things there would be part of the background. They literally would be part of what's supposed to represent the background. They're outside a shop, two sodomites kissing, right? This eye is not part of that background. That's what would be called an overlay. Like if you use Photoshop, you use layers, and different layers can be blended into the background. So for example, I could, hypothetically, instead of have it say peep show, I could use a layer and overlay something to say something else like cinema or shop. Instead of peep show, it would be an overlay. But the whole point of me doing that would be to make it look like it's actually consistent with the environment that's already there, like you blend it in. This eye is not blended into the environment. It's just a floating eye which shouldn't even exist in reality. If you're trying to depict reality with this image as a painting, that really shouldn't even be there because it's not part of the background. It's literally an overlay. So for the fact that it's there means it has to be of some significance because it breaks the rules of the picture. The rest of the picture is consistent within the laws of what would make technically an image work. This eye breaks that rule. And this eye is placed in the top left-hand corner. So technically what it is the first thing you see. Because in the West, I've said this before, in the Western world, because we've been trained to read from left to right, usually when we see an image, our eye will start at the top left of the corner of the image, and it will make a diagonal line to the bottom right corner. That's generally how we read things in the West, because we've been conditioned to read from right to left. Now, obviously, in the Eastern world, if we used to go back to the ancient Hebrew, we'd read from right. I said it wrong. In the West, we read from left to right. But if we used to read the Hebrew, we read from right to left. But it's just how we've been conditioned because we've grown up in an English-speaking part of the world. So my point is that the eye is the first thing you see, and that eye lets you know, this is the New World Order and Illuminati agenda. You see that, you read down, and what do you see? Two men kissing. So the two most important parts of this image are the part you see first and the part you see last. So the part you see first is, look, New World Order agenda, two men can love each other. So while this might look like a simple, oh yeah, it's just artwork in a shop, no, there's a very specific meaning and message behind this shit, and this shop is promoting these values and these agendas. Likewise, what have you got here? You've got the rainbow, which has been hijacked and stolen. The rainbow is supposed to be a symbol of righteousness. Now it's used as a symbol for the LGBTQ movement. Looking further down here, as I say, what have you got? Oh, wow, there just happens to be a pyramid at the top there. How convenient, right? At the top. Again, if you think about the dollar bill, as I said, what is it? Annuit corruptus, our enterprise is crowned with success, something along those lines it means. So they're in a barber shop, supposedly. And the barber shop just so happens to have a Masonic checkboard floor. What do you see on the uniform of the police here in the UK? They have these black and white squares, and what is that to represent? The fact that they're tied in with masonry. See what I'm saying? So these images aren't made by just any random old fool. I mean, they look crude. These images look very crude. They look like they could have been painted by a fucking 5-year-old. But the crudeness is there to hide the real agenda. The agenda being, oh yeah, you can get tattoos. You can love anybody. But you know what? They're all standing on that Masonic checkboard floor. And, what's the agenda of those Masons? To promote the New World Order. See, nothing is as simple as it seems. And while the images are crude and look like they've been drawn by a 5-year-old, the symbolism is very heavy. Likewise, you've got this Jake here riding on a pink fucking skateboard. Come on now, man. Something comes to my mind when I see this Jake riding this pink skateboard. It reminds me of the film Back to the Future 2. Back to the Future Part 2, the part when Marty McFly takes the hoverboard, but he takes it from a little girl. So it doesn't in the context of the film, it makes sense. He took a pink skateboard from a girl, so it just happens to be pink because he stole it and he's trying to get away from Griff and his goons. But why is there a Jake riding on a pink skateboard here, looking fruity as all hell? Well, because that's the agenda. Everything's unisex. Everything's unisex. We can all be as one. Come together, yeah. No. Let's bring out some scriptures because I've been talking too much. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5 is what I want. No, that's not what. Yeah, here we go. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto Yahweh thy God. Let's read that again. Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5. This is the point of the lesson. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto Yahweh thy God. Now let's go back to this image again. You got these two men kissing. Where's the hair on their faces? See what I'm saying? Why have they not got beards on? If they're men, why have they not got beards? Again, breaking of the law, violation of the laws lead to this shit. Leviticus 19 and verse 27. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. Read that again. You shall not round the corners of your head, so you're not supposed to get your hair lined up. Neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. So what we're saying here, we're seeing another violation of the scriptures. What does that end up leading to? Sodomy. Look, they're getting tattoos. Why are they pushing this tattoo agenda? Why is it so important for these elites to push it? Well, because it's another violation of the Lord's laws. Leviticus 19 verse 28. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. Read it again. Leviticus 19 verse 28. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. Leviticus 20 and verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So this is just one little part of a huge piece of, a number of pieces of artwork in the shop that I just chose to clip and take a camera of. I could have taken a lot more, but these are the agendas that are being pushed in this shop. When you think you're walking into these shops, right? You think that you're just walking in to buy a t-shirt or some shorts or some trainers or a cap or whatever, but really you're being bombarded with heavy witchcraft and symbolism to try and sway your mind away from the truth of these scriptures and into the ways of the world. So it's like you can't even walk into a fucking shop without being spiritually assaulted. You know what I'm saying? Because they're pushing these agendas heavy and hard, man. They ain't pulling no punches. So as I said, what are they pushing here? Sodomy, Leviticus 20:13. Man shall not lie with woman as he lieth with mankind. All that do so an abomination unto Yahweh. You know, their blood shall be upon them. Tattoos being pushed. Cuttings in the flesh. New World Order's genders being pushed. You know, the Masonic symbolism, the pyramids, the all-seeing eyes. It's all there, man. The rainbows, the hijacking of the rainbow. Niggas riding on pink skateboards and shit. It's fucking folly, man. Absolute folly. But I think I've made the point and I brought out the scriptures that are necessary. But, you know, just be aware, man. Just be aware, because you've got to have your spiritual guard up at all times, man. As soon as you set out your house, as soon as you set foot outside your house, you're being spiritually assaulted by the enemy. So keep your guard up. So with that, all giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Makakadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to all the Yakim pushing this word with faith and truth and sincerity. I'm out for now, and I'll catch you on the next one. Lord willing, shalom for now. Wa Shalom.